Hey everyone, and welcome Focus Learners to this explainer. I am incredibly excited to dive in with you today because we're looking at something that is literally fundamental to every single organization on the planet. We're going to break down the core mechanics of how businesses survive, how they evolve, and, quite frankly, why they die. We're demystifying business transformation. We're going to look right past all the corporate buzzwords to understand the actual structural forces at play.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the alignment gap, business strategy, strategy versus models, the business model canvas, and finally, transformation drivers.
Section 1. The strategic alignment gap. In business, the feeling of safety is so often just an illusion. So why do successful companies fail? It sounds kind of like a riddle, doesn't it? We usually assume they fail because they ran out of cash, or they made a terrible product, or they just weren't good enough. But there's this completely counterintuitive idea at the very heart of business transformation, and it's this: success itself breeds the greatest risk of failure.
This triggers what Nadler and Shaw call the death spiral, and honestly, it's fascinating. Step 1 is success. You win in the market. Awesome, right? Well, that success quickly leads to step 2, complacency. You kind of sit back and think you figured it all out. Which brings us to step 3, codification. You lock all your processes in stone simply because they worked yesterday. By step 4, you've developed an internal focus. You're staring at your own internal spreadsheets instead of looking out at the customer. And inevitably, that lands you right at step 5, declining performance. The organization essentially becomes learning disabled. It gets completely locked into outdated patterns that just do not match the outside world anymore.
And here is where we see the real-world fallout of that spiral: strategic misalignment. This happens when customer needs are evolving way faster than your ability to respond, or when new competitors show up with totally disruptive models. Think about it. Kodak literally invented the core technology for digital photography, but their strategy was totally misaligned with the digital shift. Nokia absolutely dominated mobile phones, but they completely missed the touchscreen ecosystem. Blockbuster ignored streaming until it was way too late. So the absolute crucial point to take away here is this: misalignment isn't necessarily a failure of effort. It's just a natural, inevitable trigger for strategic renewal.
Section 2. Defining business strategy. This is the what.
If misalignment is the trigger, then strategy is the what. It's how we set our new destination. According to Michael Porter, competitive advantage usually falls into one of 3 buckets. You've got cost leadership, like Walmart or AirAsia. You've got differentiation, like Apple or Singapore Airlines. Or you've got focus. Let's really highlight that last one. Look at Grab during their early days in Southeast Asia. They hyper-focused on the incredibly unique, localized transportation needs of that specific region. That narrow focus was the exact beachhead strategy that allowed them to survive and eventually evolve into the absolute super app we know today.
But strategy isn't just one giant monolithic thing. It actually operates on 3 distinct levels. Up at the very top, corporate strategy decides the overall scope. That's like Apple deciding, hey, we're going to enter the streaming market. Then business strategy is about how to actually win in a specific market, like Southwest dominating budget travel. And finally, functional strategy is how specific departments support the business. Think of Amazon using warehouse robots to slash costs. Transformation can happen at any of these 3 levels, but for a strategy to actually stick, you absolutely need alignment across all of them.
Section 3. Strategy versus business models. The what versus the how.
Now this brings us to a massive, and I mean massive, point of confusion in the business world: the difference between a company's aspirational goals and its day-to-day operational reality. Strategy is your destination. It's externally focused. It's where you are going and why. The business model, on the other hand, is the engine. It is the concrete operational architecture of exactly how you make money and how value actually flows. So the crucial takeaway here is that you can actually swap out the business engine without changing your strategic destination, or vice versa. Strategy sets the what, but the model defines the how.
Let's look at a true masterclass in business models. Grab's evolution. A business model fundamentally has 3 core functions: value creation, value delivery, and value capture. To become a super app, Grab utilized a platform business model. See, instead of actually owning the cars or cooking the food themselves, their engine is designed to connect supply and demand at a massive scale. They create value by providing a totally seamless app. They deliver it by matching riders with drivers or hungry users with restaurants, and they capture value by taking a dynamic fee from those transactions.
Section 4. The business model canvas, our operational architecture.
So if the business model is the engine, the canvas is our diagnostic tool for popping the hood and seeing exactly how it's wired together. At the very heart of the canvas is a core relationship, your value proposition and your customer segments. It is all about connecting a unique benefit to a specific market. IKEA connects low price and convenience to the everyday mass market. Tesla, on the other hand, targets newness, premium performance, and brand status for a much more specialized, specific segment of customers. Without this connection, I promise you, the rest of the engine simply won't run.
Now, what's really interesting here is how we bridge the gap between our value and our customers. This is about channels and relationships. Today's absolute best-in-class companies use an omni-channel strategy. That means a totally seamless transition from their physical stores right into their digital apps. And look at the trend in customer relationships right now. We are seeing this brilliant blending of automation and humanity. AI bots are out there handling the routine, self-service queries, which frees up the human staff to manage the high-value, complex needs in co-creation.
Next up, the money. We look at the foundational financial blocks, revenue streams, and cost structure. The strongest engines today don't just rely on one single revenue type. They combine recurring subscriptions with transactional sales. Just think about how Amazon Prime works. But the real transformation, the real magic, is happening on the cost side. Digital businesses are scaling incredibly fast right now because cloud computing and software as a service allow them to shift massive upfront fixed costs into flexible, variable costs.
Finally, we look at the back-end infrastructure of the canvas: resources, activities, and partners. You obviously need physical, intellectual, human, and financial resources. But a truly fascinating reality of modern business partnerships is this concept of co-opetition. Competitors actually partnering up. A perfect example of this? Samsung competes incredibly fiercely with Google in hardware, but simultaneously they partner deeply with Google on the Android operating system. Sometimes your engine literally requires parts from your rivals.
Section 5. Transformation drivers. The external why.
Okay, we've talked about the what and the how. Now we really need to zoom out to the why, the actual pressures that force a company to completely reinvent its engine. It is absolutely vital to contrast safe, incremental innovation with complete business model reinvention. Sometimes that pressure is internal. For example, as a company scales, it hits organizational crises, which is perfectly outlined in Grinder's growth model. But very often, it's external. Netflix is the ultimate example here. They completely reinvented their core value delivery and revenue model, shifting entirely from DVDs to digital streaming because they saw the external technological writing on the wall.
These massive external pressures usually come from what we call PEST factors, starting with technology and regulation. And wow, the pressure here is intense. Technology life cycles used to last for decades. Now they've been compressed to just 2 to 3 years. The cloud, AI, and data analytics are completely revolutionizing what is even possible. And right alongside that is regulation. When a law like the PDPA in Thailand was enacted back in 2022 regarding data privacy, it didn't just politely ask for compliance. It forcefully mandated massive data transformation across entire industries overnight.
Then, of course, we have the economic and sociocultural drivers. Things like GDP fluctuations, crazy inflation, and supply chain bottlenecks put immense pressure on a company's cost structure. Meanwhile, demographic shifts and changing lifestyle trends completely alter what customers actually value. These aren't just minor bumps in the road, folks. These shifting realities mandate proactive, transformational adaptation. If you're just reacting to these changes, honestly, you are already behind.
So what does this all mean for you? I want to leave you with a question. As focused learners and future business leaders, apply this what, how, and why framework to the real world right now today. Look at a company you absolutely love, or hey, look at the company you currently work for. Ask yourself, is its current strategy truly aligned with tomorrow's environment? Or are they stuck in that illusion of safety, relying on an old business model engine while the destination has completely changed? Keep that question in the back of your mind as you watch the market. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.